Hi, Jason and Adina. I'm Breeze Riley from TelltaleTV.com. Thanks for joining me today to talk about Paper Girls. So Jason, I wanted to start with you. I know you're a big comic book fan, including Paper Girls and Saga. When you got the script, was it just an automatic yes for you? I have to do this role?
You know what? I'll be honest with you, Breeze. It was the opposite in the sense that I didn't get the script when they started to put the show together. I had given the books to my friend Ali Wong, who's another comedian who's also in the show. And then I was talking to her and she was like, they're talking to me about doing Paper Girls. I think I'm going to do it. She was like, and she just casually was like, you should play grandfather. And so I was like, you know what? I should. So I took a picture of one of the panels of grandfather in the comics. I sent it to my agent because grandfather looks so much like me, long gray hair and beard. I sent it to my agents and I said, with a picture of myself next to it. And I said, will you ask them if they're at all interested in me doing this part? And they were. So I lobbied to get the part. You know, I was beating the bushes to say, hey, I want to do this. And luckily they were like, all right, come on, let's do it.
And Adina, were you familiar with the story at all? And if not, what about the role of Prioress interested you compared to some other sci-fi fantasy roles you've done in your career?
I was not familiar with the comic book series. And I try not to do too much research before the audition because I don't want to get all nervous and give, powers that be that gets to decide whether I get the job or not, put them on such a high level by going, oh God, they did this and this and that and this. I never research anybody. I always just try to think that everybody's just starting out, to give my ego a chance to fly what I have to with the audition. And then once I found out all the different twists and turns she gets to play, I was excited and thrilled for the challenge. And then I waited online at a comic book store in Los Angeles to get a brand new crisp copy of Paper Girls, and it's framed.
Oh, that's great.
So that I can respect the comic book. So I felt I had to do that, to kind of go into the comic book world, stand in line, wait to get a special edition, the first edition, do my due diligence.
That's great.
And what about the story do you think audiences will connect to?
I think, for me, both in the comics, what I liked about it, and then having now watched it and been a part of it, which is exciting. I'm excited for both, because it's a story that is at the same time a wonderful coming of age story for four young women, but is also set in the backdrop of this kind of incredible epic time travel war between warring factions to control the timeline and all this hard sci-fi backdrop for what is ostensibly a story about kind of growing up and leaving behind kind of childhood and entering your teen years, your young adulthood, all that kind of stuff. And I think the human story inside of it is what I'm excited for people to watch. And I think the Paper Girls themselves are such incredible actors that I think, and their story is so rich and so wonderful. That's the part I'm excited for people to see, the robots and the time travel and all that stuff. But really, I'm excited for people to see the journey that these young women go on, and that I think is what it's really about. In all honesty,
I think it's also pretty neat timing wise, and maybe Amazon figured this out with that Hubble new telescope up there.
The Webb telescope. Yeah,
all these new galaxies. It just kind of opens up the mind to possibilities. And for us to premiere just when you got to go, oh, maybe this isn't so far in the future sci-fi. Maybe this is a history lesson, kind of opening up.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And I know you're probably not allowed to say too much about your characters, but what kind of did you enjoy about the roles?
As an actor, it's always like I got paid at the end. There's always that. But just that you think you know one thing about her, and then you're surprised, which is what I always try to do with the characters that I play.
Yeah, similarly, like I think I really liked that, I think even though certainly grandfather is framed as an antagonist, I loved in all the scenes with the paper girls, he's trying to like get along with them and befriend them and talk to them as equals and human beings and connect with them. And there's something really wonderful about an antagonist who isn't just like a mustache twirling villain, somebody who, his want and his need makes complete sense to him, and so he's just trying to explain it, his reality to these young women from this reality, and that it feels, I loved the stuff where we all get to play together, where it's Adina, it's the girls, it's me in the barn and stuff like that. I love those scenes because you really get a sense of like not just the little human story of what's happening to them, but this larger story that impacts the future, and the past.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Breeze.